Welcome, everyone. You've reached Grandma Mo. Appreciate it if you can hit that subscribe button for me. We're nearing 200 subscribers, trying to get to 5. So we'll see. Anyway, appreciate it if you can do that for me. And we're covering the Saturday games of the WNBA. And we had 4 games. Some had, there was a little bit of a surprise here and there. And so anyway, this one was the Mercury. The Mercury was the surprise one. I thought New York was going to beat them. But it was in Phoenix. So anyway, so we had the Connecticut Sun playing the Minnesota Lynx, who are in first place. And Connecticut's fighting their way out of the cellar. And, they're ahead of Dallas and they're ahead of Chicago as of right now. Chicago ended up losing today. So Connecticut was fighting hard, but they were missing some players. And Nelson Adota and Bria Hartley were out. And, as this game went on, Minnesota, it was close in the first quarter. It was like 2-point game. And then in the second, you could see Minnesota starting to pull away a little. And they get like a 10-point lead. And then in the third, it balloons up to like 20. And they're like, uh-oh, here it goes. But Connecticut, to their credit, they fought back and they got it down to like 11 points. And then in the fourth, beginning of the fourth, Minnesota went up, built it back up again. It's amazing how quickly they can make 10-point lead into 20 points. It's just amazing how quickly they can make that happen. But to Connecticut's credit, they fought back again, but they couldn't break that like 11-point difference. With 5 minutes left, it was an 11-point game. And they ended up losing by 24. It was like 74-63 at the 5-minute mark in the fourth quarter. And then Connecticut it stayed at 63 for like 3 minutes. And then they finally they ended up scoring 7 points after that. But Minnesota started hitting threes. And they went from 74 to 90 in that same time period. But, overall good effort. Connecticut just didn't shoot well enough, and they just didn't get enough contributions from enough people. So, and Minnesota, as always, gets contributions from multiple players. So the Lynx get the win 94-70. Quarterly scoring 21-19. Then they outscored them 21-10. So that's where they built that, like 11. So what is that? 13-point lead by halftime. And then Connecticut came storming back. They outscored them in the third quarter 25-24. And most of that was late in the third quarter. But then Minnesota just separated in the last 5 minutes. And they outscored them 28-16. So Minnesota is now 31-8, and Connecticut is 10-29. None of the team stats were really significant. Points in the paint, second chance points. Connecticut actually had 19-10 advantage in the second chance points, but that's probably because they missed more shots. Connecticut shot 36%. 31% from 3, and Minnesota shot 51% and 53% from 3. Connecticut out rebounded them 41-35. But, you're shooting over 50%. That's going to win you some games. So, Minnesota had 5 players in double figures. You had Collier with 17. Alana Smith and Carrington with 18. And then you had McBride and Williams with 15 apiece. You had contributions from Jessica Shepard, 4 points. Bridget Carlton didn't score. She only took 2 shots. She had a steal, an assist, 4 rebounds. Heidemann had 5 points. Sherrod had 2. So that rounds out the scoring for Minnesota. They won. It wasn't easy. Connecticut was definitely battling, but they just didn't shoot well enough. The Connecticut Sun had 3 players in double figures. Mabrey and Charles had 14 points apiece. And then Aaliyah Edwards, who played mostly, I mean, she played on and off, but she was in there in the second half, and she was fighting hard on the boards and stuff, and ended up going to the foul line quite a bit in the end there. So she had 11 points, 5 rebounds. She was 3 for 6 from the floor. But you had Rivers, who was 2 for 11. Lacan was 3 for 10. Anisha Morrow was 2 for 9. Although she was great on the board, she only scored 6 points, but she got 11 rebounds. She was fighting hard for those rebounds and just skying. So Connecticut shot 36% from the floor and only 31% from 3. Minnesota made 15 threes and Connecticut only made 5. That's 30 points right there. So anyway, it was still a pretty competitive game. I mean, Connecticut, you look at the score and it seems like a blowout, but it wasn't really. It was, like I was saying, with 5 minutes left, it was an 11-point game. So Connecticut, they fight hard throughout the whole game. They don't give up, which is, it's a good sign. It's a team that likes each other and they play hard. But Minnesota's just, unless they're shooting really poorly like they did in the second half against the Storm, Minnesota's just too good. They have too many weapons. So anyway, that's it for this one. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.